What's up? 49ers coast to coast, West Coast Grant Cohn, East Coast Jason Aponte. We're here to talk Niners. But specifically, we're here to talk the quarterback count timeline because we're fascinated by it. We're a couple of guys who like to try to break news. We were trying to follow along this offseason, and it was very confusing as to what happened. The narrative keeps changing because Kyle Shanahan keeps revealing more information. Basically, what you need to know is you probably already know, but there was the whole Mac Jones. There was a whole lot of confusion as to who the Niners were going to take. Then they took Trey Lance, and the Niners were like, by the way, this was our guy since January, ha, 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 in your face. But then Kyle goes out on Sean McVay's podcast and was like, yeah, but in February, I really wanted Matt Stafford. So we kind of have to go back and look at the whole timeline, starting with the Super Bowl loss. So I'm going to let Jason take us through it, and I'm going to pepper in some comments as I see fit. Jason, where does this story start?
So this is something that when we were talking about it on previous shows, is something that's going to be dissected for years and years and more about this draft process because, again, 49ers are a cornerstone franchise. Getting up to pick 3, it's something that matters. And, you know, with the whole Jimmy Garoppolo discussion and everything. So let's just start at the beginning. And I hate to start here, 49er fans, but
you muted this word on
I did.
Twitter.
I did.
But it's time to talk about it.
It is the best time to talk about it. I did mute this word on the timeline. Well, let's start at the 2019 Super Bowl. So the 49ers collapse as a team, not one person. Many things when you watch that fourth quarter, I can point to and I could say, this guy missed a block. This guy ran the wrong route. This guy missed a block. He missed a throw.
It was a team effort.
Yes, it took an entire team. So it took an entire team to blow that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll start with Tom Brady. So everybody took that clip from HBO's The Shop, which is great. And I implore anybody who hasn't seen it to watch it because Tom Brady's a little bit more candid there. And I kind of like it when quarterbacks talk or professional players talk about candidly. I want candid. You know, we made fun of Coach Speak last time. Doesn't this start with Mike? So I mean, we'll just start the way that I remember it. I remember.
Well, real quick, we'll do it like this would be the what do you call it in a book? The part before the first chapter.
The prologue.
The prologue. Okay, the prologue is you have to know that Jimmy coming off the torn ACL was bad in the 2019 preseason training camp. He had the 5-pick practice, and there were reports multiple from Mike Silver that short leash for Jimmy. Organization really likes Nick Mullins. They could make a switch if things go bad for Jimmy. Now, of course,
I remember that. Okay,
come to that. So that's the prologue to this story. This goes back to 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
That is a good call, actually. And that actually, I mean, when we get to the end of the story, you'll understand what we're trying to do here. But part 1, Tom Brady becomes available. Yes. And I forget which month that is. And it was very much, so like I was talking about with The Shop, a lot of people alluded to him talking about you're sticking with that MFer, and they thought that he was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. We did find out he was talking about Ryan Tannehill. And when you watch that whole episode, he was talking about it was a team that he wasn't interested in, but you're not interested in me. Right. That's the stuff and he really got upset about that. So that's when you put the pieces together. The Titans are already invested in Ryan Tannehill. Doesn't make sense for you to pivot from that to Tom Brady. So it does make sense. So Tom Brady was more perturbed at the idea that the Titans didn't want him. And why don't you want me? So
especially Tom since he has a personal relationship with Mike Vrabel.
Right. So
he's Tom probably Brady, older than Mike Vrabel. I don't know.
He is, right? I think he is, or he's close to it.
Yeah.
So Brady wants the 49ers. The 49ers want Brady. This has been documented. They flirted with the idea. And we all know that really what happened is Tom Brady, the reason that he was able to establish himself, I mean, he made some good money, but he was never like the highest paid quarterback, even when he was like at the top of his game with the Patriots. So at the end of your career, what do you want to do? Let's go get a bag and let's go play in my home. Well, the 49ers balked at that. And they said, listen, we're not going to give you 35, 40 million, whatever it is that you're looking for this 2-year deal. It's just not in the cards. Next day, boom, Tampa Bay Bucks.
Because remember, the Niners, to outbid Tampa Bay, you'd have to offer like, what, 10% more, 13%, whatever state income tax is for in California for the highest tax bracket. It's hefty. So, yup.
So the next day, Tom Brady signs with the Bucks. Done deal. And it was pretty clear that he wanted to be there and they wanted him. Okay, didn't happen. That's the first part of the story, because there's so many names that we have to go down the list of people that Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch have identified as replacements for Jimmy Garoppolo. And it started with Tom Brady. So Tom Brady falls through, goes to the Bucs. Bucs win a championship. Not certain that would have happened here with all the injuries, but I know that I can't say I know. He probably would have stayed upright for more games. I think that he's a little bit more savvy in the pocket to move and get out of the way of things. So, okay. Yeah. So that's part one. That is part one. It's part one of the story, right? So the 49ers let Tom Brady walk because they didn't want to pay him his $40 million. And, whether you agree with that or not, that's pretty much what we've gotten from everybody that we've spoken to.